Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've recently done a review of the PPK and the Bulgarian Makarov, and while I had it out, I figured I would do a quick review of the Bulgarian Makarov by itself and let everybody kind of see it. I know there's interested parties out there. They're on the surplus market. They're starting to dry up and the costs are starting to go up, but I thought there's a lot of people out there that may want to take a look at it and see it a little bit closer. So we're going to take it apart. We're going to go over some of the features of it and just do a quick review of the Bulgarian Makarov. Stick around, we'll take a look at it. Alright, I got the Bulgarian Makarov. This is only got one magazine and I didn't bring any ammo, so this is all we're going to get to see of it. Let's put a few rounds through it. I put about 3 through them earlier with no issues, but let's shoot the rest of them and see how it does. That is accurate. Okay, so I just did a review of the PPK and the Bulgarian Makarov. So I figured while I had the Makarov out, let's just do a video strictly on the Makarov, get into the magazines, some of those kind of things. So first thing, this is a Bulgarian Makarov. It is chambered in 9mm Makarov or 9x18. See if we can get a little closer view of it there. It's a little bit bigger than a 380. A little more power. You're going to get a little bit more of a barrel length out of something like this than you would the PPK. Similarities though are because it's a blowback pistol design that was essentially ripped off of Walther in the PPK. It makes a very accurate handgun. Some of the features of it, or some of the specs, are its overall length is 6.34 inches. The barrel is 3.66 inches and it weighs in at a heavy 1.61 pounds or 25.76 ounces. So it's a very heavy handgun, but shooting the 9x18 or the 9mm Makarov, it is very easy to control. It's a double action, single action handgun. So you've got a double action, long double action pull. This one's pretty good because it is a used surplus gun, so it's got some rounds through it, makes it a little bit easier when you're in single action. It's not a 1911 by any means, but it does have a little take up and it's a squishy kind of single action, but it's very light in comparison to the double action, which is pretty heavy. Okay, if we go through it, we'll take a look at the sights first. These are just blade rear and a milled in front sight. They're very small. That front sight post is really kind of tiny. Well, you can see it here, but it's not very big at all. You do have some anti-glaring here along the top. It's a blued finish. The rear sight is driftable. Again, front sight's milled in, so you can adjust this a little bit in the rear, but it's just a single notch post on the rear. It is a safety decocker, so when you're in fire, you can decock it. Once you're on safe, you're not going to be able to pull the trigger, not going to be able to move the hammer, and the slide doesn't move. So it locks everything up completely once you're in safe. When you sweep it off, so it's more like a 1911 versus the PPK, which is the opposite direction. So you sweep off on your safety and it allows you to move in your double action. It does have some serrations here for gripping on the slide, and you do have the safety decocker there to actually help you get a good grip on it, pull it back. It is a little bit heavy of a slide to get pulled, but it's not too bad. Smaller ejection port with the ejection right there. Again, the hammer is a solid hammer. It's knurled pretty well there with some nice cuts in there to really get your thumb on there. Again, the safety is the same way too. It's large. It sticks out there pretty good. Lets you really get a grasp on it. Not the cleanest. It doesn't move real easy. I have cleaned this. It does come in packing grease because a lot of these are all milsurp weapons that are shipped into the country. But it does function very well. So you can see that safety holds it very well. Another thing you have here is a slide catch, something you don't see on the PPK. So when you get to the rear, you can actually lock that slide to the rear, and it does sweep off pretty easy, so it's easy to use. The grips are wraparound style grips, bring it right around. I like that. It actually gives you a comfortable grip. It's a good size for medium size to larger hands for sure. Feels really nice in the hand. The texturing is okay. It does have little star grips. These are the Bakelite grips that come with it. It does have a little lanyard ring on these grips so that you can use with the holster. So some of these come with holsters when you buy them. Nowadays it's getting harder to find, but it does come with a magazine holder here. This one did come with a cleaning rod as well that'll slide in there, and your holster for your gun. So it works very well. It's kind of a, if you're collecting them, it's nice to have the holster with it. It goes very nicely, and you can have your lanyard as well. Okay, back on the gun. This has a little bit different magazine release, more of a European and the older style, with the magazine release there being in the heel of the gun, of the grip. So when it's in, you actually flip that and it will pull out. They don't drop freely, so you do have to pull it out. But for those of you that like that European grip mag release, it works. It makes sense in a lot of times, in a lot of situations where it is on the heel, where you're actually going to pull the magazine out and you can get a good grip on it. But I prefer the magazine release up here by the trigger guard, but that's because that's what I'm just used to. Not to say it's good or bad, it's just the way it is. These magazines do have it as a hold open on the last round, so if you pull it back, it automatically locks back. So it does have a nice hold open feature on those magazines. So these guns originally replaced the Tokarovs in the Eastern European countries, and the magazines that come with it are all steel construction. They are see-through here. It does have a little catch here. I don't know if that's supposed to help with the magazine loading, or if that has something to do internally. That's something I probably should look up or find out, but you can't really use it for loading the magazine. For one, it's a little sharp. I don't know how well you can see that little clip right here on the side. It kind of sticks out a little bit, but it's still there. Again, it has a hold open feature. Easy to clean because of that. I don't notice it getting very dirty, but I guess they could get dirty inside there as well. Very easy to take off too. The spring actually has a little clip here that protrudes. You just push that back and you can slide that base plate off and clean up inside the magazine if you need to. The follower is just a little steel follower that is very simple. Very simple design, not very difficult to clean or to use. Again, it's an 8+1 magazine, and finding these can be a little more difficult. Actually, finding the Makarovs in general can be a little difficult. Takedown is actually pretty simple on these. You just move your trigger guard up and over to the side, just kind of slide it over there a little bit. Once you slide it back, the back end just lifts off and slide it forward. And there you go. Now you're apart. Easy to get inside and clean, lubricate. Again, the barrel is fixed to the frame. That's part of that blowback design. That's why I mentioned earlier it's usually inherently more accurate, because this barrel is never moving. It's not adjusting or rotating or with that slide. It stays fixed to the frame and gives you very accurate shots. Very simple though inside. The internals are very simple to easy to clean. Just a simple design. Going back, we just push it back in through the front, slide it back over the top, and slide it back down. Once you're done with that, move your trigger guard back over and you're in place. Now you're locked back in. So as I said, these are getting more and more difficult to find. They were pretty good surplus for a while back. You can find them here and there. I've seen them also rechambered in 380 ACP at around the $400 mark. And the other ones you can find, most of the ones that are out there now that I've seen are not in as good shape. They're more fair condition than this one is. And with that, you can probably find them just south of $300. But they're still out there. I'm sure if you start looking on Gunbroker and some of those places, you're going to see the prices start to increase. Again, with surplus weapons, as they come into the country and they get sold off, you're going to lose the opportunity to get them at a fairly low price. once those shipments start dwindling down, the prices inevitably go up. You saw it with the 9130s, you see it with the Makarovs, you see it with the CZ pistols. So yeah, if you're into surplus and you're into a little bit of collecting, these are great firearms to get while they're still cheap. Keep an eye on any kind of surplus stuff that comes in, and that can really help you build a nice collection, especially surplus weapons. Okay, so that's just a quick kind of overview of the Bulgarian Makarov. Again, fantastic pistol. That blowback design has been around for a long time and works very good in these smaller caliber handguns. That fixed barrel design makes it very accurate. So it's a wonderful little handgun. It fits very nicely in the hands for the original stainless stacks that you have out there from a long time ago. These are beautiful. The bluing on this is very nice. You can find them out there. They're starting to get a little expensive. Like I said, around $400. I've seen them for chambered in 380. So the barrels have been replaced with 380 ACP. But you can still find some of these as well in the 9x18, excuse me, 9x18 or the 9mm Makarov that are still out there. They're starting to go up in price. Keep an eye out on them, especially if you want them in a nicer condition. You're going to start paying for it. That being said, when it comes to milsurps all around, if you are into the collecting a little bit, there's a lot of milsurps that come in and they're very inexpensive when they first come into the country. As they start to sell out and fewer shipments come in, the values of these handguns and these rifles and all these milsurps that come in, their values go up. As opposed to if you look at Glocks and some of those, they're going to hover around the same. They may go up a little bit, they're going to go down a little bit. It really depends on what you're looking for. But if you're into collecting and some of these things, these are great pistols to pick up. I recommend getting out there and trying them and shooting. If you know someone that's got it, get out and shoot it. They're fun to shoot, very accurate, light recoil, a little bit harder on the slide to rack sometimes, but all in all, very fun, very great firearm, and a great one to have in your collection if you are a collector. And if you have any comments about these, put them down below. I always like to hear what other people have to say. They've been around for a while. A lot of people like them. Some people don't. I'm always curious in the comments. Help everybody else out to understand a little bit more about them, maybe some history, those kind of things. So put your comments down below. I'll respond to all the ones that I see that I can respond to, and hopefully others can chime in as well. If you like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And until we see you again, happy shooting. Talk to you soon.